this is something I was thinking about doing for a while. Was Tupac able to destroy Biggie Smalls' career? And what made me think about this was seeing like how the 50 Cent Ja Rule beef went, and it was a personal beef. Even though they was never friends, the beef was still personal, and 50 was the aggressor, kind of like how Tupac was the aggressor, and Ja Rule was the, like, when it was first going down, he wasn't like making no diss records and none of that. It was just 50 making tons of diss records, even in the mixtape days, and Ja was trying to like ignore it and just focus on the music, which was what Biggie was doing as well. So it made me think like, yo, Tupac could have been the first to do that, to destroy somebody's career, like how 50 did to Ja Rule and Murder Inc. He could have been the first to do that, but unfortunately he passed away, so we'll never know if he could have did that, because when he came out with Hit 'Em Up, and I think it was in July or August, that song just, it was so massive and negative, and it was just coming at Big so crazy that it was a takeover. And the fact that Big didn't want to respond and didn't respond to it it just kind of shocked a lot of people, and it was crazy. So, and not only that, Pac was, like I said, he was the aggressor. He came out with, he did a Hit 'Em Up Part 2. He did other diss songs that wasn't released or whatever, like He versus She with Storm, Little Homies, the Made Niggas video where he was this, like, he had a Biggie and Puff lookalike in the video. So he was just like on the warpath. And then he also said in interviews like he's trying to push Puffy and Biggie out of hip hop, and the One Nation album was gonna do it, like, cause he was gonna collaborate with every artist from around the U.S. which he respect and show love to, from down south to New York to other West Coast artists, and it was just gonna show unity and show like it's not an East Coast West Coast thing. That was the album he was planning to make. That was gonna end the East Coast West Coast hype train, but he never got the chance to really do it. And it was gonna also be the album that he might have used to push Big and Bad Boy out of the game. So he was coming at them pretty hard. So, and Big wanted to diss, but Puff said it wouldn't be a good idea. But Big was subliminally dissing him as well, but he didn't come out and straight say it. So I was just wondering, would Tupac been able to really push Big out the game? Because the only difference here is that Big could diss and Big was lyrical. So I think Big might have still been in the game. He could have still been in the game. I don't think Tupac would have been able to 100% get him out. But then again, if Big wasn't never replying and Tupac kept on going like how 50 did at Ja, he could have damaged his career. But the only difference why I say I don't think Tupac would have been able to push him out, because Big could make songs. Big and a Ja Rule is not in the same senses. Big could out-rhyme a Ja Rule and stuff like that. So I think he would have been in the game. He would have still been in the game, but he may not have been able to sell records as much. It would have just, people would have just looked at him like they definitely would have took a hit as far as selling records and respect. People would have looked at them crazy, like, wow, like he really coming at them. And then you got to remember, during this whole time, I think Big, even though Tupac was dissing them, the Conspiracy album by Junior Mafia was doing good. It was kind of like a comeback. So as long as Big would have been able to come out with a hit record or a smash record, he would have still been in the game. Like a hit, you know what they say, a hit record solves everything. We've seen it in recent times with artists that got big accusations. All they did was drop a hot song, a hit single, and all is forgiven. So I think Big, all he had to do was just keep dropping hits, and he would have, Like, people wouldn't have completely turn their backs on him or stop listening to him. I think all he needed to do was just keep dropping hits, and he still would have been in the game. Like, I don't think Tupac would have been able to 100% push him out the game, but I think he would have did some damage to their career, especially if they not responding back to hit him up or responding back to none of the disses. But I want to know what everybody think about that. What you people feel? Comment or subscribe. Just tell me your thoughts, because I think Tupac would have been able, like I said, like, he would have did some damage, but I don't think he would have been able to 100% push him out the game. But we'll never know, because the untimely passing. But it's crazy because Big was gonna drop Life After Death on Halloween. It was gonna come out that same year. So it would have really been interesting to see what would have happened had everybody survived, Pac never got shot or anything. Like, would Big, after Big passed, he went diamond. But if they was both alive and Big dropped Life After Death on Halloween, I think it would have altered some of the songs too. Some of the songs that they went back and made after, to put out in 97, it would have been, we wouldn't have heard some of those songs. We probably would have heard some other different type of songs. So it's just crazy. Like, a lot of things would have changed. But yeah, Pac was going hard at them. Hard. But I think, like they said, the 7 Day Theory, that was his last dissing effort. And after that, he wasn't going to keep on going with it. I think he probably would have just left it alone, because it was getting out of hand. It was becoming, I think he realized that it was becoming more than a Biggie Smalls and Tupac thing. Like, this West Coast, East Coast thing was just too hyped up, and it wasn't real. The media set this up. The media pushed for that. So I think he was realizing, like, oh wow, that's why he was planning to make the One Nation album, to squash that, to kill all that, and show that that's not the case. It was just a beef for him and Bad Boy. But I think that he would have left after that 7 Day Theory album. He would have left it alone, because hip hop, it was becoming too controversial, to the point where he wanted to retire. He wanted to quit. And I'm gonna make a video about that, talking about that, how Tupac was in a dark place. But yeah, he had really wanted to leave rap, because there's too much controversy towards his rap career and everything going around. It was just a dark time for him. And every time he come out with new music, it's like people didn't want to hear the artistic side of Tupac no more. They wanted to hear him dissing people. They wanted to hear him going after Big, or they asked him about Big or Mobb Deep, or what about this, what about that. He just didn't want to bother with it. So I just think that he would have did some damage to Big's career, but I don't think he would have been able to 100% destroy his career, where people don't want to listen to him no more, and people would have turned their back on Bad Boys. Because I think the difference between their beef and the 50 Cent and Ja Rule Murder Inc. beef was that when 50 was saying, oh, Ja's a pop star and all this other stuff, when he came out with The Last Temptation, it kind of proved 50's point. So it's like they fell into the trap, and that's why people wasn't. And then 50 had the hottest album out at that time, so people was gravitating towards him, and people was like, oh wow, he's right, y'all make this kind of bubblegum music and all this stuff. So people was swaying more to that side. But Big, everybody know Big make them hardcore street records and all that type of stuff. So he would have definitely, and he's versatile too to an extent, so he would have definitely been able to withstand the onslaught. All he had to do was just put out hit records. So that's my thoughts on it, man. If y'all want to comment and leave y'all thoughts on it, go ahead, man. I'm out.